Well, a very good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Candy Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Evan Sokinya. I'm glad that you're here with us. Well, I'm joined by Wakili Willis Otieno, who is my resident guest, as well as the Deputy Party Leader of Safina Party. And Wakili, why is it that I'm finding it difficult to mention the next thing?
You're an unbeliever.
I am a believer. I'm a believer. Of course, we expect to see Wakili's name on the ballot come the year 2027, so to say. Wakili, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm okay.
Yes.
A lot has been happening since the last time that we met here and had a candid conversation on this very platform and on this very show. But of course, as this is happening in the country, I've seen civil society groups and human rights defenders come forth and say, look, there is a very worrying trend in the country when they look at the manner in which the government is actually dealing with dissenting voices. And of course, one of the highly mentioned events was what actually befell Butere Girls High School during that particular event in Nakuru. I want us to first of all begin from there. How do you see what is actually happening in the country at this time? Let us begin from what happened back then.
You know, the first thing that we must indicate is that Kenyans have acquired their political rights.
Yes.
And you may not like what someone says, but unfortunately, it is their right to say it. The right of artistic expression, freedom of artistic expression is in our constitution. And when the Ministry of Education came up with the theme of the drama festivals, the theme was governance and corruption. And if a play is scripted depicting that question of governance and corruption, it falls within the theme, and that play was admitted. And it was played all the way from the zonal level to the sub-county, to the county, and to the national. That play met all the qualifications to be relayed. You may not like the storyline, you may not like the script, but the artistic expression, the right of artistic expression of the students and their scriptwriter is sacrosanct. Just in similar fashion, there may have been some plays that were scripted to praise Kasongo or his administration. There are people who may not like it, but it's their right of artistic expression, and those are not interfered with. So allow those who are praising you and those who are depicting the true picture of our society today to also express themselves without interfering. But you find a repressive regime that gets uncomfortable when truth is spoken, resort to underhand means to undermine the exercise of the right of artistic expression. That cannot work. Those are things that Moi did to Ngugi wa Thiong'o in the 1970s. They don't belong to the new Kenya. This new Kenya where political rights have been enshrined in our constitution. Kenyans are beyond political rights. We are now focusing on economic independence, the liberation of our people from the economic chains that are holding them back from living a life of dignity and to enjoy the resources of this nation. But the Oscar Sudis and the Farouks and the Rutos of this world would wish that we turn ourselves into praise singers, and that when an artistic expression is made that they find uncomfortable, then the same should not be played. Where were they when this play was being played at the zonal level, county level, regional level, that now you want to stop at the national level? So the true echoes of war, in my view, was finally enacted with cast from the Kenya police, doing exactly what the play depicts as the true picture of our society. But nothing stops the repressive regime from coming up with echoes of SHA, or SHA is working, or university funding model is working. It was within their right to also come up with their own scripts.
Now, well, at the center of it all, we are having here children who are actually still going to school, because definitely the drama festivals are co-curricular activities within our education system. Now, within the education sector, the question that we are asking now that, one, do you think that the government would have handled this thing in a better way and therefore wouldn't have given it the kind of limelight that it has received up to the point that we are in right now?
Why should it be handled? There should be no handling. I mean, the only handling that we should be witnessing in terms of this play was the adjudicator's remarks. That's all. Whether it's number 1 or number 2 or number 3. But you don't start saying that you handle it, that children are involved, now we should. Even those children are taught literature. And look at the literature books they read, the set books that they read. It's about the society. And part of learning is you want our kids, who are the next generation leaders of this country, to develop critical thinking skills. And they should be able to interrogate and relate what they're learning with what they experience every day. It doesn't mean that children don't have rights. Those rights are in the Constitution. Even that right of artistic expression is in the Constitution. If in their play they depict Shy is not working, for example, you want to tell me they don't fall sick and go to hospital and Shy is not working for them? They're the same ones who are struggling with paying school fees. They're the same ones who skip meals in schools because capitation has not been sent in time. They're the same kids who are sent home for school fees. They're the same ones who back at home, their parents cannot provide a basic meal in a day. So they live in this society. And you cannot say that now they should not mimic in an artistic work what they experience on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
What should be condemned is William Ruto declaring war on Gen Alpha, the ones who have not done anything wrong other than to express themselves as provided in the Constitution. He's now killed Gen Zs and abducted them. Now he's starting a new war with Gen Alphas. Which kind of a regime will that be? That sees enemies in every shadow. That even a child's play is responded to with police tear gas and batons. Which kind of a society is that? You are meant to protect and defend the Constitution. Part of defending and protecting the Constitution is to protect those rights and to ensure the full enjoyment of those fundamental rights. He is undermining it. And you cannot hide behind the clamor that these are kids, they should be protected. The kids should be protected from corruption.
Okay.
That's the first protection.
Okay.
The second protection, they should be protected from bad governance. The third, they should be protected from a failed system that does not release to them school capitation. The fourth, they should be protected from a shift share that is not working. The fifth, they should be protected from high cost of living that is making them not have decent meals. The sixth, they should be protected from seeing their siblings and parents languishing at home for lack of jobs. The seventh, they need to be protected from a society that the leadership is all about lies, lying to them every single day. So that is what we need to protect our kids from. There is no protection that they desire in terms of artistic expression of what they believe in or what they're experiencing in the community. That is not protection. That is trying to blindfold them and to hide from them the reality of what they are already living in the community.
So many individuals and people in this country, and of course even internationally, have aired their views on this same thing. But first of all, I want to make us understand: are we dealing with an academic issue, a legal issue, or a political issue?
We are dealing with a human issue. This is a governance issue. Humans are the ones who are governed. They live in the society. So you cannot run away from that reality. That kid was killed in Rongai during the Gen Z demonstrations. He was in high school. When his peers depict a play of what they are going through, the horrendous experiences they are going through, is that not the reality of what they are living every day? So there's no politicization.
Okay.
You are the one who politicized by killing and abducting the young people, the Gen Zs. So when it is mimicked in art, why will you say that they're not living in the society? That you are politicizing it? There's nothing political about it. What is political is the failed economic system and the repressiveness of the regime that does not accommodate dissent. What they even call dissent is merely an expression of our constitutional dictates. That is what we need protection from. We don't need any other protection to our kids. If all these systems are working, then the kids in art will be mimicking the society. They will be coming up with art that depicts how everything is working in our community. Because art is merely a reflection of a society. Art does not exist in a lacuna, in a vacuum. Art exists within the people. And when the people create it in an artistic form, it's just a reflection of what the society is about.
Okay.
Nothing beyond it.
There have been allegations of the scriptwriter at the center of all this saga here, politically weaponizing the children here to achieve some sort of political mileage. At least that is what people from the other side are saying. And there is this debate in the country whether the children of this country should actually stay apolitical as long as they are in school. What do you have to say?
As I've told you, why should children stay apolitical when governance affects them every day? When shift share is not working, when school capitation is delayed, when they go to school and there's the infrastructure of the school is dilapidated. Just the week before the play, we saw 2 Ramba boys die in a sock pit, septic tank. They collapsed in a septic tank and died. That's the true face of the society they're living in. When these kids are seeing their siblings killed, abducted, that's the true face of the society. So what do you mean by apolitical? What is politics? Politics simply means how we exist in this society today and how we organize ourselves. So if the society has organized itself to be repressive, are you telling me that the kids' voices should be stifled? They are part of the society. And when I look at our constitution, I have not seen any right that is limited, that only applies to adults, including the right of a freedom of expression and artistic performance. That right exists to everybody. So what we should be asking is, the kids have given us a mirror to ourselves as adults. Is that the society that we want to bequeath to the next generation? And we should be talking about making things work. And the fact that the script was written by Malala, when did it become a problem? Dennis in 2BA is writing scripts for kangaroo girls every year. It's never been an issue. Even Malala, when he was in UDA, Secretary General, he used to write scripts.
It wasn't an issue back
then. It was not an issue then. Why should it be an issue now? And nobody cared about Malala. In fact, I didn't even know about that script until the state made heavy weather out of it. Without the state's heavy-handed response to that play, I'm sure many Kenyans, including myself, would not even have known. So there was no political mileage Malala was going to gain out of that script. This was purely a script that is presented at a drama festival. How comes we never notice it from the zonal level to the sub-county, to the county, to the regional? We only come to notice it at the national level. Why? Because in those other levels, the state never deployed a heavy hand to stop the artistic expression. It's only when now they deploy a heavy hand at the national level that it draws attention to everybody. And now we are aware about it. In fact, now the play should be staged at Kenya National Theatre so that all of us Kenyans can go and watch it and even pay while at it to watch it.
For you, if you look at it, is it a case of the state versus this playwright Cleophas Malala, who is a political player in this country, or it is between the government and the people?
It is a fight between the government, the Kenya Kwanza administration versus the young people. This is just a continuation of the war that Kenya Kwanza has declared on the young people of this country. For the Gen Zs, it was about killing them and abducting them. For the Gen Alpha, it's about stifling their voices and deploying tear gases to achieve that objective. So it's not a war against Malala. If anything, there is no award that Malala was going even to receive out of that play. There was no way I was going to be called at you to be given recognition because he wrote the script. The award will go to the kids. The accolades will go to the kids and their teacher, not to the script writer. So why are they dragging Malala? So conveniently, you drag Malala's name to blind us. So you turn it to be a contestation between Malala and Kenya Kwanza. But Malala is not anyway, he's not a performer. All he did was to provide a script. And the script is owned by the school at that point. Okay? So we cannot say that it is a contestation of the Kenya Kwanza remain versus Malala.
What do you make of the response by the CS in charge of education and even the TS that has gone ahead? All that, how they actually responded to all this drama that we actually witnessed?
First, the CS education is a liar. That man lies like his boss Ananias. Because what he claimed that the script was changed is a lie. And a fact check on it demonstrated that he was lying about that script. In fact, the documents that were filed in court shows everything about that script, how it has been. There's been no script that has been changed. So he's lying like Ananias. The TSC statement, first thing is that TSC has no role to play when it comes to the regulation of the national drama festivals. That's the role of the ministry, not the TSC. So TSC is overreaching its mandate. And then also for TSC, if they had a problem with non-teachers writing scripts, when did it become a problem? It couldn't have been this year. Why didn't they do it against Itumbi? Let them lead by example by taking action against Itumbi and that other comedian before they can come for Malala, if it be an issue. But again, TSC's mandate is limited to teachers. These are not teachers. Where does it come in? Who is the one who is recorded there as the director of the script? That must be a teacher. And if that is met, don't try to use state agencies to further an illegal scheme, which is all about trying to stifle the expression of the artistic rights of the students of Butere and other students across the country.
We are actually approaching the 2027 general elections here, and we've seen the government try as much as possible to muzzle dissenting voices at this moment. If you look at it, and by the way, before we get to that bit, first of all, if you look at this thing politically, in terms of the ideal political strategy and moves and how the government should actually move, and now the person being here at the center of it all is the president. Do you think it was a wise move actually to go the kind of direction that they actually went? And
do you expect Wisdom and William Ruto on the same line? William Ruto and Wisdom on the same line, you expect it? Long shot. This is vintage William Ruto, who has a very thin skin, cannot stand to be told the truth. So there's no wisdom in his action. And it will be foolhardy to expect any wise response from a gentleman. This is all he knows. Repression and undermining the constitution. That's all he knows. There was no wise response from the state. And wisdom resides in our constitution. If he was wise, he could have simply asked, what does the constitution say about artistic expression? And allow it. Not even allow it. Stop interfering.
For you, now, what do you conclude? What do you see here from a government that actually sees threat from every corner of the country, and people are actually headed to the elections?
These are paranoid government. These are government living in paranoia. And their date with destiny is coming. It has arrived. And now they must deal with the ghosts of their mismanagement of the economy and poor governance. That is what they're dealing with. That is why you are seeing them acting the way they're acting. But they cannot surmount that which the people of Kenya has prepared for them. It's coming. And they must be served, and they must accept their flowers. When they had a chance to deliver, they gave the people that which they gave them. Now the time for the people has come to pay them back in equal measure. They have the duty to receive it as served. It will be painful, but the end of Kenya Kwanza is in the hands of the people of Kenya, and they will finish it.
So, the end of Kenya Kwanza, you're saying, is in the hands of the group, but at the same time, the government here actually holds all the power, and we've seen it use it actually to their own benefit. Do you think that perhaps?
But I've told you, it's they ultimately they will have to go back to the people to look for a mandate. It's the same people they are tear gassing that they're going to ask to vote for them. So, that's the end. If you expect to refresh it, to renew your mandate from the same people you've been tear gassing and killing and attacking everywhere.
But it's gone ahead and done that.
Yes.
And about the issue of tear gassing, we even saw this with the other time with the Langata primary children, when you remember that kind of land grabbing saga.
Yes.
And again, this particular round, and even during the Gen Z demonstrations, the court even pronounced itself on the same, but then we see this trend keep on.
That is why I've told you, all that cumulatively, they have to go back to the people and ask them for a mandate, a fresh mandate. How would you expect the people to vote for them? It's the end. Their demons have now caught up with them, and their chicken have come home to roost.
Maybe your president knows better, and that is why he's making these moves. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to stop this conversation at this point, but then of course we are still keeping our eyes on what is taking place in this country with regards to how the government is actually handling most of the critical issues that are affecting people here. We've seen muzzling of voices, and especially those ones which are perceived to be anti-government. Weigh in and tell us what you actually think, but we do hope that the president is watching, because we do not want to see a repeat of what took place at Nakuru, and of course what is taking place with constant attack on anybody who is seen to be anti-government. Allow me to stop for now till we have this conversation again. Have yourself a lovely day. Thank you for watching. My name is Evans Okinyi.